How stuck are you? Looking back over my life, I've learned some of the ways that God actually moves me from one season into the next season. And sometimes it's actually been kicking and screaming all the way, skid marks all the way along, because none of us actually like to shift. Even those who say they like change can still find it a difficult thing to do, you know. And I came to understand that God taketh away the old because I didn't want to giveth it up. And so sometimes he's had to actually shift me much more radically than I wanted to be to get me into that new place. We hold firmly onto the familiar because it's our safety and security. And sometimes the cloud moves and we don't. And we just want to stay in that same environment. Well, we can live that same season over and over and over again. And it's not because of the externals or the environment. It's because it's the processing of our heart that can't actually get to grips with the fact that there's something better on ahead, but it may cost us to get to that new place. And you know what? Peter was a bit like this. And Matthew, in chapter 16 of Matthew, Peter's there and Jesus is explaining to them that he's going to die. And it says, from that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders and chief priests and teachers of the law, and that he must be killed, and that on the third day he would rise again. But Peter took him aside. Don't you love this? Peter goes, got a word for you. You know, like he took him aside to rebuke him. And he says, not so, Lord. Never, Lord. This will never happen to you. And Jesus turned and said to Peter, Peter, get thee behind me. You are a stumbling block to me because you don't have in mind the things of God, but you have in mind the things of men. So Peter struggled with the fact that things were actually going to change. And this was just after Peter had declared to Jesus, just a few verses before, Peter's saying to Jesus, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And now Peter's saying, not so, Lord. No, just a quick word. No, you're not going to do that. You know, and we're all a bit that way. We have a particular mindset about how we comprehend God, and it's very limiting to our circumstances. And we want to keep God in the same kind of way that we knew him. He is a multifaceted God. He changes not, but we will take all eternity to find out the amazing attributes of God. And we like the familiar, guys. We actually like the familiar because it dilutes truth. Suck that one up. And we don't have to deal with a new situation because we like the familiar. So when seasons of change comes, as this whole pandemic has created for us, seasons of change have come. They're meant to expand us, even though we've been enclosed. And I want to know how you're going. Did you actually feel any expansion? Because we grow in these times. I think of the old snake. He has to actually go through a change of skin to get into the next season. Because if he doesn't change his skin, he can't grow. Because he can only grow to the amount that skin will allow him to. So if he wants to grow, he has to actually slither out of the skin. And it's a very vulnerable time, and it's a pretty awkward time for the snake. Not that I've got a lot of sympathy for them. But it is a time when they are stuck in their current environment and cannot grow and will slowly wither away unless they change their skin. So how stuck are you? Are you willing to change your concept of God? Are you willing to expand what you think he might be saying to you? And can you handle change? This is time to ask the Lord to expand and change your heart. So knock yourself out.